Okay, ready to dive into something really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
We're going deep with Anissa Ferchichi and her book, The Power of Silence, a guide to spiritual enlightenment.
Definitely not your typical self-help book, is it?
Right. Anissa's background is wild. An NLP trainer, yoga breathing teacher.
And a hypnotherapist. Talk about a triple threat in the mind-body world.
Exactly. But get this, she didn't just randomly stumble into this stuff. Anissa was struggling, dealing with anxiety,
Nah.
feeling lost, you
Right.
know?
That search for something more, something deeper, is so relatable.
And that's what led her to this whole silence thing. But hold on, what strikes me is how she blends science and spirituality.
That's what hooked me, too. She talks about the proven stuff like better focus, less stress, but then boom, she goes into the deep end with these potential spiritual experiences.
Visions of the future, healing, automatic writing. I mean, come on. That's intense.
I get it. It sounds out there.
Yeah.
But what if we just, I don't know, approach it with curiosity?
Okay, I can try that.
So she commits to this 3-day journey of silence, prayer, meditation, reading the Quran. She went all in. And that's when these extraordinary things started happening.
3 days. I can barely handle 3 minutes without talking. What was that experience like for her?
Well, she calls it purifying the heart. And before you think it's all woo-woo, she's actually talking about facing those inner demons, past mistakes, all that baggage we carry.
So like a deep cleanse, making space for something new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this connects perfectly with NLP, one of Anissa's specialties. It's all about how our thoughts, language, and behavior are linked. Silence quiets the mind, we become more aware, and then we can start to change those limiting beliefs.
Powerful stuff. And you mentioned hypnotherapy too, right? How does that fit in?
Think of it like accessing your subconscious, where those deep-seated patterns live. Anissa uses it to guide people into deep relaxation, making them open to positive change.
So silence becomes this tool to reach those hidden parts of ourselves, the parts that need to shift.
Right. And let's not forget the yoga breathing. It's not just stretching. It's about controlling your breath, which calms the mind through the nervous system.
It's like she created this perfect storm for transformation silence combined with these powerful techniques. No wonder those profound experiences happened.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about those experiences.
Yeah.
First one that grabbed me was automatic writing. Middle of the night, she wakes up, feels this urge to write, just flows out of her.
And it's not gibberish, right? These are like messages about energy, healing, interconnectedness. She even felt like it was coming from a source beyond herself.
It makes you wonder, right? What if, by quieting the mind, we can access some deeper knowing, that intuition we usually drown out with all the noise?
Okay, but hold on, there's more. She had these visions of the future, and a lot of them came true. A beautiful home, financial abundance, travel, helping people. It's like she saw her dream life, just like that.
Fascinating, isn't it? What if silence makes space for those desires to surface and then somehow they start to manifest?
So it's about aligning yourself with what you truly want and letting the universe do its thing.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. She has this vision of being with her soulmate in this paradise. And she's feeling this overwhelming love, joy, like she's talking to God about it.
Whoa, so we're talking divine love here, not just romance, but something much deeper.
Right, that sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves, whether it's God, the universe, whatever you call it. Silence can bring us to that.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern. Silence isn't just about peace and quiet, it's about unlocking these incredible potentials we didn't even know we had.
That's the beauty of it. And wait until you hear about what happened with her piano skills. It's like she leveled up from
Yeah.
basic tunes to composing music and writing lyrics.
Wow, seriously. And then there's that story about her discovering healing abilities, stomach pain, reciting verses from the Quran, and the pain is gone.
And then she does the same thing for her mom's headache from miles away. I know it sounds wild, but energy healing is ancient, and there's more and more research on it.
So maybe silence amplified some innate healing power within her.
It's a possibility worth exploring. Our minds, bodies, energy, it's all connected.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Anissa's story is mind-blowing, so much transformation.
It is. We've seen how silence can purify the heart, how NLP and hypnotherapy can take us deeper, how it unlocks creativity, even healing. But we're just getting started.
Right, there's so much more to unpack about Anissa's journey and what she learned about silence.
Stay tuned, because next time we're going even deeper, looking at specific lessons and how to apply them to our own lives.
Last time, my mind was blown, I'll be honest. Anissa's story, the automatic writing, the visions, the healing. It's a lot.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? It shows you what silence can do, the power it has. But I'm curious, what really stood out to you? What resonated the most?
For me, it's the potential, the possibilities. If Anissa could do all that, what's stopping us, right? But let's be real, most of us can't just disappear for 3 days into total silence.
Exactly, and Anissa knows that. In her book, she actually gives practical tips for bringing silence into our daily lives, even if we're busy.
Okay, now that's what I need. Finding silence these days is like, I don't know, finding a unicorn or something. Where do we even start?
The first thing might seem obvious, but it's super important. Setting boundaries. Like
Yeah.
actually tell people, hey, I'm disconnecting for a bit. A few hours, a weekend, whatever works.
So you're creating that space, mentally and physically,
Yeah.
to unplug without feeling guilty.
Exactly. Now this one might surprise you. Get a consistent sleep schedule and wake up early. Like really early. Anissa suggests between 2 and 3 a.m.
Whoa, that's commitment. But I get it. Those early hours are peaceful.
Right. The world is still asleep, your mind is clear. It's about tapping into those natural rhythms.
I'm willing to try it. What else is there?
Start each day with something that nourishes you spiritually. Prayer, meditation, reading, being in the nature, whatever connects you to something bigger than yourself.
It's like setting an intention for the day, reminding yourself what's important.
Right. And this one is key. Keep a journal. Anissa says write down any insights, messages, miracles that come through during your silent time.
I love that. It's like documenting your journey, you know? You can track your progress and revisit those aha moments.
Exactly. You're honoring those moments, making them tangible.
So far, we've got boundaries, early rising, spiritual nourishment, and journaling. That's a good start. But why bother? What's the payoff for all this silence stuff?
Oh, the benefits are huge. The most obvious one is less stress, less anxiety. When we step away from all the noise and information overload, our nervous system can finally chill out.
It's like giving your mind a break, allowing yourself just to be.
Right. And that calm spreads into everything. Better sleep, happier mood, even stronger relationships.
Makes sense. You're less reactive, more centered, so you can handle things better and connect with people authentically.
Absolutely. And beyond that, silence can boost your creativity and make you more productive. Sounds crazy, but sometimes doing less helps you do more.
It's like taking a step back to see the bigger picture, right? You get a fresh perspective.
Exactly. When your mind is always busy, it's hard for creative ideas to pop up. Silence clears the clutter, and those aha moments happen.
I know that feeling. My best ideas come when I'm out in nature or just sitting quietly, letting my mind wander.
See? And then there's the deeper stuff. Silence can make you more self-aware and connect you to something beyond yourself.
This reminds me of what Anissa said about feeling connected to God. It's like silence creates a bridge between you and the universe.
Well said. When you quiet the external noise, you can hear your intuition, those subtle nudges, and the deeper desires of your heart.
It's like tuning into a different frequency, one that gets drowned out in everyday life. And that frequency connects you to purpose, meaning, belonging, all that good stuff.
Exactly. You start to realize you're not just an individual, but part of something much bigger, something interconnected.
So it's not just about feeling calm or getting things done. It's about remembering who you truly are, connecting to that deeper part of yourself.
It's a beautiful way to put it. And it's a journey we can all take, no matter what we believe. Silence is a universal language. It speaks to everyone.
I love that. So we've got practical tips. We see the benefits. Silence is clearly powerful. Where do we go from here?
In our final part, we're going even bigger, exploring how silence can heal not just us, but our relationships and the world around us.
No, that's interesting. I'm ready for it. This conversation has already changed how I see silence. It's not about escaping the world. It's about engaging with it in a deeper, more mindful way. Okay, so we've talked about silence for stress, creativity, spiritual connection. It's a lot to take in.
It is, right. But we're not done yet. Today, we're going even deeper. How can silence heal not just us, but also like our relationships and even the world?
Okay, that's a big one. I get how silence can make us communicate better, be more present,
Yeah.
but actual healing for relationships, how does that work?
Well, think about what gets in the way in relationships. A lot of it is our own ego, needing to be right, defend ourselves.
Oh yeah, totally. We get defensive, arguments happen.
Exactly. Silence helps us step back from that ego. We can tap into empathy, compassion.
So instead of that back and forth, we actually listen, try to understand the other person.
Yeah. And that deep listening can bridge the gap, even when there's conflict. You see their point of view, feel their pain, and you can respond with kindness, even if it's hard.
It's like choosing understanding instead of judgment, connection instead of pushing people away.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
And that changes everything in relationships. You move from blame to understanding, even forgiveness.
It makes you think, how often do we just react without thinking? Say things we regret? Silence could be that pause button, you know? So we choose our words and come from a place of love, not ego.
Exactly. That space between something happening and us reacting, that's where we have the power to choose.
Okay, so that's individual relationships. But you said something about healing the world. That's
Yeah.
a huge idea. How does silence even play into something that big?
Well, one way is it helps us feel connected to everything. Remember how we talked about realizing we're not separate from others, from nature?
Like we're all part of this big web of life, all connected.
Yes. And when you get that, it changes your values. You care more about other people, the planet, the big picture. It's not about scarcity and competition anymore. It's about abundance and working together.
So my inner peace can actually spread outward and help create a more peaceful world. It's like that saying, be the change you want to see.
Love that quote. And speaking of change, let's not forget about creativity, innovation, all that.
We talked about silence and personal creativity, but how does that scale up to, like, global change?
Think about it. So many great inventions, discoveries, they came from moments of quiet reflection. Archimedes in his bath, Newton and the apple.
Yeah.
It wasn't a loud meeting that sparked those ideas.
It's like those aha moments happen when you step back, give your mind a break.
Right. Our minds are bombarded with information all the time. Silence creates the space for breakthroughs. It's like clearing the clutter so creativity can happen.
So to solve the world's problems, maybe we all need a little more silence, both personally and as a society.
I think so. And here's another idea. Silence can be a form of activism.
Activism? How?
In a world that's always screaming for your attention, choosing to be silent is powerful. You're resisting, you know. You're not conforming, consuming, always being on. You're reclaiming your attention and focusing on what matters.
It's like a quiet rebellion against all the noise and distractions.
Exactly. And when you take back your attention, that can lead to change. You see things more clearly, you question things, you imagine new possibilities.
So silence isn't just about inner peace. It's about using that peace to make the world better.
Beautifully put. And it all starts with being willing to step away from the noise, find that stillness, and listen to what emerges from the silence.
Anissa's story is amazing. It's shown me that silence isn't about running away from the world. It's about engaging with it from a deeper place, a more heart-centered place.
I'm so glad to hear that. I hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore silence in your own life, even in small ways. What could you try this week? Even 5 minutes can make a difference.
That's a great question for everyone to think about. We all have the potential for peace, insight, connection through silence. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.